Hi everyone, I want to welcome you to Give Us a Voice. This is the ladies edition, and we wanted to do this video because it's so important that we get our voice back. There's so many people that are going through, depression, they're going through hard times, they're battling insecurities, they're battling low self-esteem. There's so many things that women face, and we're not talking about it, and we're not being vocal, open, or transparent, or even honest about it, and we're allowing the enemy to silence us. We're allowing society to silence us. We're allowing the opinions of people to silence us. So we're meeting with a group of amazing ladies, and we're just discussing different topics that women face to give us back our voice. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to be transparent. It's okay to share your feelings without judgment, without criticism. We need to speak out rather than holding things in and letting emotions fester and weigh us down and get us heavy and burdened in life. A problem shared is a problem halved. So join us as we go into our discussion. How many of us have been heartbroken in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 8.
Auntie B did not heartbreak.
So 6 out of 8 of us, and I mean, we're not a mass amount of people, but that's a high percentage. 6 out of 8 people being heartbroken in this room. So share a little bit about that time in your life. Share a little bit about how that was, how you felt, how you were able to overcome that season in your life.
For me, I found it quite tough because I always say I feel like I'd rather be hurt physically, forbid either one, than emotionally, because I feel with physical healing it's a lot more predictable. I know what to expect. I know what to do. Well, I knew what to do with emotional healing, but then I didn't know the time scale. I didn't. In my mind, I think even when I have a cook, when I'm cooking or something, I have a cook, I know, okay, by tomorrow it should be fine, or by 2 days' time this should be fine. Or if I burn myself in the kitchen, I know, okay, I kind of have an understanding of how long, but with the emotional healing, it took a bit longer, and certain things would trigger it off. Certain memories would trigger it off. Certain, you could be in a room full of people smiling with your eyes, but your heart is a distance away. I remember one time I was in my friend's house. Can I say it's you? I was in my friend's house and I was so distraught, and I was living outside London, 2 hours from London then, and I used to come to your house, as you know yourself, to stay over quite often. That was like my second home. And I remember it was around 11 p.m. We'd finished praying and stuff, and it was around 11 p.m. And I had peace, and all of a sudden I just thought, no, I can't do this anymore. And I packed my bags, and you were saying, where are you going? Where are you going? And I was there pulling my bag into the street. I said, no, I need to get away. And I walked off into the night.
It's like a movie.
Like a movie. Literally.
It's all into the night.
I walked off into the night, and I thought, okay, there are no trains, so I came back. But like that for me is just a description of what emotional, it can just make you confused, exactly, and just doing things that you wouldn't irrationally, checking Facebook pages, stalking, doing like things that you wouldn't in your normal mind do, So that for me was how I felt, and kind of getting over it. Really, it was with me was really having people speaking to you about it, because speaking about it, discussing it, having a support system there, and praying about it as well, and allowing, kind of being very, very open with God about it and confessing it before God. But for me, I found it really, really hard, and sometimes I try and advise people, don't do it, don't go this, because I don't want them to have to experience what I went through. So
why would you have the heartbreak? Like, what happened?
Okay.
Oh, she just took it. She's just asking questions. By the book. I'll give you time, girl. Give me time to figure out the answer.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like God told me. Let's start there. Let's start with God told me not to go there. And you know, I'm someone that I know myself, I know my heart, so I guard my heart. I'm very good at guarding myself. You know, I'm very good with friendships and everything. I'm very good at guarding myself. But that time, I didn't guard myself as well as I should have. So I allowed myself to stay longer in a thing when God told me and kept telling me. I even had dreams. Everywhere he could tell me, he told me. But I stayed there longer than I should have when I knew that this wasn't going to be somewhere. At first I was confused, so I'll give myself that leeway. Okay, you weren't sure at first, but once you were sure, you didn't leave. You stayed, and the longer you stay, the more attached you get. And the harder it is. And then finally, when I did let go, the heart, let me see the heart. I love the swear. The heart wanted me to go back, but the spirit told me no. So once I cut off, you know, the person kept calling, but I said to myself, one more call and I'm back. So I had to call, one more call, I had to delete everything. So that's why it happened in the first place. I feel like I stayed in a place longer than I should have, and me leaving wasn't that. I didn't want to stay, or I didn't like being there. I left because I knew this is not somewhere I should be. God has showed me in so many different ways.
What she says actually, because it's not the stereotypical I got dumped. So most people get like, oh, he did that. But sometimes it's you doing it. You didn't do it because you didn't want to, because you knew God said no. Because sometimes people think heartbreak is only when you're at the receiving end. Like, it's not you, it's me. It's hurting me to hurt you. It's actually a real thing. So that exists.
Yeah, I remember I never thought I could get heartbroken until I was in uni, and I wasn't even in a relationship. So for me, it seemed unusual to be hurt by this situation. It was literally the definition of a situationship, where you're in a position where there's no actual real commitment. You're doing every single thing that's in the context of a relationship. So you're calling all the time, you're seeing each other all the time, you're doing things for each other, you're taking each other to hospital when you're sick, you're wiping off each other's brows, you're doing the most, but there's no commitment, there's no confirmation of that commitment, there's no title. And then when God now tells you to stop, you want to start crying tears. But like I said, it's kind of like not self-inflicted, but it's something that God probably didn't tell you to do, and something that you put yourself in, which I did. So then when it came to coming out of it, I was in pain, like physical pain. It was unusual. It was foreign. I was like, what is this pain in my chest? And I was crying on the phone like, I have to stop talking to you. And it was like, oh, I want to come down. I'm like, no. I was just like, wow, I never felt that pain before, because in the world I was very self-righteous. So I was like, no man can do this, no man can do that. And then when I was in Christ, I was like, oh, Christian guys are great. And so I really genuinely, I still believe Christian guys are great. But in this context, I was oblivious that Christian guys aren't perfect. So, and this was my first encounter of a Christian guy.
Perfect for you, just because they're all great.
I just assumed if you're not in the world, you got Jesus. No, it's just automatically gonna work. But it doesn't work like that. So that was naive. But like he said, once you know, and you still stay in it, then it's your own disobedience that comes back for you. But I felt around that time I didn't sympathise with women as well. So I used to be like, how can you be dumb enough to let a man... I would always be like, I don't understand why girls are like, I don't understand. How can you have heartbreak? I don't understand. And then I understood. I was humbled, I was beat, you were there. She told me to stop from... But
I love what you said.
She still told me off.
I love what you said, and I felt that as well, where the emotional pain, which people always put, people don't usually attach a physicalness to emotional, but then the emotional pain manifested as something physical and now became a hurt, a pain in your chest. So I experienced that where I began to feel a pain.
Could you point to it?
Right here.
I was like, right here. Touch me, Jesus, right here.
Literally, it was there. It was, So I never thought that could happen. So I agree with that.
And then afterwards, I just became I think I learned a lot of wisdom. I don't recommend going through unnecessary situations just to come back and be like, hey guys, I have a testimony. It's not by force to go through everything. You can learn from others.
Did anyone else feel after you got through the emotions, you were okay, that hurt, but that hurt really opened door to different? You know, I got hurt, and when I look back on it, I was like, I wasn't just hurting about that. There was stuff in my life prior, and this just kind of triggered.
Yeah.
Do you get me? Because you know, like after you like clear your eyes and you look, no offense to whoever watching, that you look back, you're like, okay, what did that be? You know, like when you cry beyond the, you know, I think they call it catharsis, when you everything you're feeling or that was there you never could express. Okay, so let me stop speaking parables.
Yeah.
Like I think when I went through my stuff, it was just like the pain. I mean, I cried in an exam. Like, okay, so the day before I found out was the day before my landlord exam. So like, you can play in first year, I don't recommend it. But if you played in first year, you definitely don't play in second year. So I'm starting my second year exam and landlord. I don't know if you've landlord. You know landlord. You don't play with landlord. You focus. But I'm there like crying, my paper's wet. I'm sure I confused the answers together. And I was a leader of a fellowship there. So just because you're saved and you stand to it doesn't mean you're immune to pain. And one of my leaders is like 2 rows, so we should go like what? like, what's wrong with you? But by the time I like worked my way and I was working through the why I'm hurting, because sometimes you're hurting and you can't really. I think part of your process of healing is figuring out the why, like why it happened, why this hurt so much. And I was looking at it, and for me, I realized that one, there were some insecurities that it emphasized in my life. 2, there were some issues with like my primary relationships, like. You know, you know, like when we see things our parents go through, and you're like, "Oh, never go through that," and then you go through that, you're like,
"But wait,
like, because you know, like, you know, when you're growing up, you have like, "I will never let someone do this to me. I will never," but then somehow. We all the sanctify, because sometimes because we're saved, we think it immunes us to certain things. But I don't think it necessarily immunes you automatically. There is a wisdom that you still need to apply. Now you're saved, you know better, but you still have to do better. It's not. So I literally had to, for me, part of my healing was to admit that person didn't hurt me, I hurt me, because I didn't do what I knew to do. Does that make sense? Because if once you're saying that person broke my heart, you're giving that person power to be responsible for your healing almost. But I think there's a healing that comes with responsibility, like taking the responsibility, but also knowing it wasn't just him. There were things sitting on the inside of me that caused me to react so much to it. I feel like thank God for the mercy of God. Praise Jesus.
It's funny, I experienced heartbreak in the world and in Christ. In the world, I felt like it was much easier to overcome because you just drink and dance it away, or just replace him. Do you know what I mean? And hymns, whatever. Like, it's very easy to just go, oh, what's your name? It's very easy to just replace it. But obviously, in Christ, you're not meant to just replace them. So you have to actually deal with what your issue is. Yeah. So even that relationship. I broke up with the person, and I planned the speech. I sat with my friends, okay, so I'm going to say, how does that sound? And maybe put that word and change it. Okay, cool. So I had the speech. So it wasn't a surprise. I planned to break up. Do you know what I mean? Came back, okay, this was happening, so we're breaking up. Okay, wait, hold on. This is the third line of the thing. Read through the whole thing. No, we're not breaking up. What do you mean?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, like, yeah, we are.
2 months.
Yeah, we are breaking up. We're breaking up. And no, we're not. I was like, I didn't realize this a bit. Do you know what I mean? So, but it was in the world, so there was things I could do to make that process quicker. Okay, we can do. So, we were living together, and he wouldn't leave the house. So, a week passed, a month passed, 2 months passed, baby broken up, why are you still there?
So was he in your house?
Yeah, like, why are you still there, baby broken up?
Did you tell him to leave? No, you just resumed.
I
But we're still friends.
Every now and again I'll drop in a thing of, so what's your friend saying about the place? Do you need help back in? Little, little hints, little, do you just pick you up or, do you know, you need something. Wasn't going. So I had to actually, I don't know how intentional this plan was, or if it just because of that lifestyle at the time. But I met somebody, was with the person, let him know that I was with the person, came back home, told him how great it was with the other person.
Oh.
And that's how we lived.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so yeah, that was how I dealt with it in the world. In Christ it was a situationship, it wasn't even a relationship.
Is these situationships, they do more damage.
Yeah. So that was funny though, that one was, because I wouldn't have perceived that to be heartbreak. But it literally took about 9 months to maybe a year to really say, okay, I'm good, I can actually talk about this. I couldn't talk about it at the time, I'm always quite open to talk about things. But to say that I'm really healed from it.
Like talk about it without it hurting.
Yeah, without the connection, without the...
I hate him.
It's hard, yeah. Do you know, I never blamed people. Yeah. I was abused as a child, I never blamed the person, I never blamed people that abused me. I never really associated blame with things. I wasn't someone who put blame on people, but in that situationship, I wasn't even angry at him, to be fair. I think it's similar to what everyone was saying about acknowledging the fact that no one can't take from me what you didn't openly give. I can't say that you hurt me or you broke my heart if I didn't put that heart on display. To be broken, yeah, I couldn't really point a finger and say, no, it was you. Because it was fully consented, I wasn't kidnapped, I wasn't raped, it was consented. Do you understand? So the fact that I went through that pain or went through that situationship and then had to heal 4 times and then what it actually lasted for. Like,
for some people
it makes sense.
I've just heard that thing that your healing is the amount of time you're with someone. It will take the amount of time to answer.
No.
So you know what? If you're with someone 7 years,
but I think, I don't know, maybe it's because I wasn't in denial for about 5 months, to be fair. I was like, I'm fine, it's just okay. And then when I finally let go, okay, I'm not okay, I actually need to acknowledge this is a problem. And if I don't address it now, then the cycle is just going to keep. Because one thing, when I came to Christ, I just thought, this nigga was just saying like, oh, everyone's saying this, everyone's fine, that's saved, isn't it? Like, you lot are great. I'm on the cloud 9 with you lot now. So there's just cloud 9. But there was no cloud 9, boy. I think people, they're just, obviously just as broken because people, but it's a thing of, it's not as obviously, like, you can't pinpoint it like you could in the world. They can see someone broken in the world. Yeah. Well, I felt like I could see someone broken in the world. I could kind of read if someone, I could kind of like, let me just say, I could read if someone was broken, but I feel like in the church, I didn't know if they were really happy or if they were just saying it as well because it's what you meant to say. So I didn't know. And I got saved in a rehab church. So my friends were ex-drug addicts and prostitutes, and the pastor was a heroin addict for 20 years. So I'm used to being in a church where people are real, like, yeah, I don't know, I was you know, so thank God I'm saved now. That's what I'm used to, like, I wasn't used to people that being like, and it is well. Oh, okay, is it actually well? Or is this just what we say because it's... Yeah. So I didn't know, that's not the truth. So it was part naivety, it was part, I hadn't dealt with, I feel like deliverance is kind of played down a lot in church as well.
Oh, go there.
I think like, why are we not like, altar, Jesus' name, I surrender, okay, deliverance. Why isn't it all on a chord? Yeah, like, why is it not dealt with straight away? Because you carry that with you, you don't really leave at the altar if you're not told to leave at the altar. You take it back home with you. And then Monday to Saturday you're doing what you're doing, and Sunday you're like, oh gosh, gotta repent again. I thought I had to repent every week every time I sinned. That's what I thought. I had a bad week, repenting.
So there's this theme of stuff going on aside from the heartbreak.
Yeah.
So do you think that you were going for or attracted to the wrong guys because you wanted security from them, or there was things inside that was attracting you to the wrong people and that you hadn't dealt with?
Yeah, that's why I think deliverance is vital. Because in the world, you're not told anything is spiritual. You are told things are physical. It's what you see. You don't understand the spiritual connection to certain things. You don't understand the spiritual connection to sex. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know that you've got soul tie. No one told you that. So when you do get saved now, the soul tie is still there.
I think it's partly that, but I also think I can't from my experience, I can't always say that it was the wrong person. I think it can be the wrong person, or the right person, but the wrong you. Like you could have, like this is white, for example. But like you said, when you come in from somewhere, you come from, your mind is not renewed in a particular area, and you have blood on your hands, you touch it, you can mess that thing up. So people could have something that has a potential to be great, but if you're careless and you're not using wisdom, and you're not doing, like how many times, I go to a church called Salem, not minor plug there. We have.
So do I. Oh my gosh.
I mean, great. So we're told, like, you know, if someone approaches you, the kind of things you should do. But some of us, I will take it all, everyone keep your eyes straight, haven't always followed that accountability thing. Haven't always done what we, because it's one thing to know something, it's another thing to apply it. And for me, for example, I would say a lot of the pain I went through is a lack of application of the things I knew. So I wouldn't always say it was always the wrong person or the wrong potential. It's probably you both had an opportunity, but because you were both in the wrong headspace, or you just haven't seen an example of a good relationship. So you genuinely don't know what to do.
I agree with that.
Do you know what I mean? Like Adam and Eve, it was the will of God for them to be in Eden. But they still sinned, and they lost Eden. But thank God for Christ who came back. But sometimes it's not. That's my personal.
When I think about like my broken relationship with my engagement, I always think about how I was quite young, and like mentally I didn't think I was developed enough to have been in an engagement in the first place. But when you were saying how you can mess a good thing up, I think about the kind of character traits that I was exhibiting towards the ending of the engagement. That would be a terrible wife. Like if that continued into a marriage, I probably won't get divorced. I don't believe in it, but I probably would be very miserable. And it'd be one of those struggle, all night prayer every day type of marriages, where you're forcing yourself to be, you know, joyful. So like I understand what you're saying in terms of the wrong timing or the wrong. You've been the wrong. Yeah, you're not developed. The version of you is not so you're not developed enough to be in that situation. It's like when people say you wouldn't give car keys to a 5-year-old, but one day they will drive. So it's like in that context, I can definitely see how you can do things at the wrong time, or if you're not ready yet. Some people they say, oh, when are you gonna get married? Do you even know if I have a job? Like, ask me about marriage. Like, you might get certain guys and be like, you need to be here, you need to be here. But you don't know what character traits that they need in order to be there. And like I said, you both could be great people individually, but not work together for holy matrimony.
I love what you said, Shanika, you know, the soul tie thing and things being spiritual. And I think people sometimes don't know that soul tie can be there even when sex hasn't taken place. A lot of people associate, especially in the church, soul ties with sexual activity. But I think I had soul ties and I didn't engage in. Do you understand? Even when you don't, just by proximity, or as my husband calls it, cabin fever. You can be there, and a soul tie is formed, and you emotionally, that's why we're in emotional. Yeah, so sometimes your emotions can cause you to have a soul tie. Like Jonathan and David in the Bible, they didn't do anything physical, but they had a soul tie. But that was a good soul tie. Or we can have bad soul ties just by spending time day in, day out. Just being attached.
Contact breeds contract.
I have to tell you a story, guys. I thought I was invisible, when it came to like falling into temptation with guys I didn't like. So I'm like, if I'm attracted to you, ain't nothing gonna happen. You ain't even cute, you ain't even tall. How did I find myself here at night time? Then when you kept saying, why'd you keep going to that place? Remember, I was like, I have to go here. And you're like, why'd you keep going there?
Oh yeah, there was a question in there.
And I was like, I just gotta do something. I was like, this is never gonna happen. Like, nothing's ever gonna happen. Not that I was too prideful. I genuinely didn't think if I'm not into you, but how can I? How is that gonna work? It's possible.
Oh wow, possible.
Like the emotional side can supersede all the other sides that you thought you're not into, and you can just find yourself vulnerable. This close to losing the reputation.
You look like you want to say something.
It's just going back to the soul tie and the heartbreak. I didn't go for a heartbreak because obviously I was the one. As you said, I like the definition that you gave. That because you're coming out of a relationship doesn't mean that you're the one.
You're not free of
it. Exactly. But I think for me, it was more, I didn't really necessarily have a heartbreak because God specifically told me to come out of that relationship. But what I had to deal with was the soul tie. So things like, for example, came out of the relationship, but it took like a whole year for the breakup to be official. So there was the official breakup, and then we're still seeing each other, still calling, and we're like, okay, I thought we were breaking up in that. But I think what saved me was that the person actually left uni, and eventually, I think at that point, I was in contact with my husband now, and I think we're talking, he called me randomly, I think it's probably Christmas or something, and even at uni, this guy was still going about at uni saying that we're in a relationship, even after a year, and I remember eventually I had to say to him that I actually lied to him to say that I'm in a relationship right now, so could you please stop calling, stop going around saying we're in a relationship and that. But the soul tie thing is so key. I was not having sex, but there was certain things that I was doing, and I like what you said about, because in Salem, you know, there's the thing about kissing and no kissing, where I came from, just don't have sex. Do you understand? That was my thing. I didn't see kissing as anything, as a big deal sort of thing. So that was one major, obviously, connection that we had in that. But obviously, thank God for my sisters in Bradford, thank God for Salem, and I realized, oh my gosh, what I'm doing is so wrong, all these things that I'm doing. But the soul tie it's deep. Like, it's not easy, it's really bad. Sometimes, you know, you're not really thinking about it, or you find yourself on high five. I'm too young. What is high five? What is high five? People. I didn't know. I'm the Facebook generation. And then you're looking at pictures and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm studying this. Or checking the next girl.
Or you get your friend to look. You get your friend to look. You delete them yourself and then get someone else to look.
But I think the key thing for me, and I think it's something that I think for yourself, one thing what you said was that for me it was the reason why I went into the relationship. I don't think it was because I was immature. I feel like I know now that I went into the relationship for the wrong reason. I just wanted to experience being in a relationship. Because for a long time, I said, first year at uni, you know, I'm free, I'm at home, let me try this, let me see this and other. But clearly I went in for the wrong reasons. And clearly he was saved, but it wasn't exactly saved. Clearly, if I let my guard down, things would happen. So I felt like I had to be the one always like, okay, God, Jesus, help me. Okay, God, Jesus, help me. Okay, God, Jesus, help me. And sometimes you're in the room, you're like, okay, stop. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what are you doing? But hearing God is so key. Knowing God is so key, because that way you're doing things because you know that this is from God. This is an instruction from God. I'm not doing it because I even love myself. I'm doing it because He loves me. And because He loves me, I have to obey Him. And I think it was at that point, I remember there was one time at uni, I'd never forget, this guy was in an argument, and this guy pushed me. And I was just like, this is it, God. You told me to leave and I'm still here. And that was it. I was like, oh my gosh, you actually pushed me. If you push me, you beat me. You did everything. And at that point, I remember I just walked out. But then I still went back in the relationship. And I'm like, what's wrong with this girl? Until eventually I was like, hey God, I can't do this, I'm sorry. I'm a Christian, don't do this. It's a lie. I'm actually a true Christian. Like, I was on the conversation. I'm a spiritual Christian. One of this is literally, I had to come to the point where I had to say to myself, so like, you need to really walk the walk of faith. And you know, if you say you're a Christian, you're a lover of God, and that you're faithful to God, then it needs to show in your action, even down to your relationship. Because I felt like there was loads of times at uni where in the open, I was like Christian, but then on the other side, I'm like, if only they can see me right now. If only people can see what I'm doing right now. And I guess it's just making that decision that, you know what, I'm gonna run this race, and
The difference between falling and making a mistake and having an entire lifestyle that's completely disobedient.
Exactly.
And I feel like sometimes if you keep making the same mistakes and you don't come out of it, you'll easily fall into that trap. And I was having a conversation with my friends. So it's just like, wake up like before it's too late, and you find yourself in that constant cycle, and you just fall.
I think it's also like what you said is, you know, like when you like you knew you weren't supposed to be there, but you're still saying, Jesus, help me.
Yeah.
Like, you know when you know it's wrong, but you're still like,
Fair point.
just God, just help. Like, God bless my mess kind of thing, or at least help me not to mess up beyond where you can reach me. You know what I mean? You don't say it with your mouth, but your actions are like, okay, God, like, okay, I'm going here, but don't let me do anything that you won't like.
It's so sweet.
It's like, yeah, but yeah. Thank God for mercy. My mom's sex talk was, you're going to a party, if your boy tells you to sit on the lap, call your brother. You know, it was just, the answer for it was, call your brother.